Undeath, it's time to Rise from the Grave album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest from Undeath. These guys are a Rochester-based death metal band, and they are one that absolutely has caught my attention over the last few years. To a T, they are exactly what I look for in modern death metal, and that is not something that I'm usually, actively seeking out. They are campy as hell. They are over the top. They've flirted with doom and thrash as well. To me, Undeath is a band that just pushes all the right buttons. Getting into their early EP, Sentient Autolysis, it was an absolute treat, which they certainly did blow me away with their first full-length album, Legions of a Different Kind. It is brutal, it is campy, but it's also oddly approachable at times. I mean, some of the freaking riffs that they were breaking out on these tracks were ridiculous, like the title track in Lord of the Grave. Even some of the longer and more drawn-out tracks here showed the band had a lot more to offer. And leading up to this album, I thought they were putting out a lot of great singles. Let's chat about this thing. This album starts off with Fiend for Corpses, and right off the bat, buckle up, buckaroos. I mean, I hope you're sitting down for this one, friends. This takes no time at all to really get off the rails. Now, there are no rails to begin with. This track is just ridiculous. It's got a gnarly riff. These growls that we get as vocals are just so guttural and ugh. But the one thing that I've always loved about Undeath is here as well. That's just how balls out they are. The campiness already is turned up to 11. I mean, listening to this track, I feel like I'm watching a classic episode of Metalocalypse. All the while, not straying away from what made this band great to begin with. That is just really great riffs, great guitar solos, great performances. I mean, if you're new here, welcome to the world of Undeath. Defiled, again, is even more, straightforward. It just takes no time at all, just getting completely out of control. But I love my metal ridiculous. I love my metal over the top, and that's what this is. It is just the right balance of ridiculous and really intense. And I am, for one, just so into these vocals. They are just soul-crushing. They're downright demonic at times. And you know what? I don't want to just say, this is a campy thrill ride for the entire time. I mean, the performances all around are usually A1. I'm all for this. I just dare you to just try and keep seated during this. I can't. Rise from the Grave might be the best track here. I love the throttling riff that we get here. And oh, by the way, it's just melodic enough to really stick with you. A lot of this album is, and I think that's a major selling point. And I'm not crazy. I mean, between the chorus that we get here and this riff, a lot of it is very memorable, and it's really catchy in its own weird way. I mean, it's batshit insane, but I can't wait to listen to it again. Necrobionics, on the other hand, is a straightforward, by-the-book death metal track, and that's not a bad thing at all. These boys definitely did their homework. Once again, though, I just love how ridiculous this is. Between the riff that we get here, the breakdown, the freaking lyrics, and the subject matter. In a weird way, though, once again, I would say this is actually, this album as a whole is a pretty good entryway if you're new to death metal or just have been kind of off the stuff for a while like me. Here's the thing, though. We also get tracks like The Funeral Within, where I kind of feel like maybe this is a little too color by numbers at points. The track is a little too by the books. I don't get that same personality like I do on so many other tracks here. It even borderlines parody at times. I mean, it's okay, but it's not that same gut punch. Human Chandelier, I think, is the worst track here. It's really average all around. I think even less than that, actually. I mean, this is the first time here where I felt like Undeath were trying to do way too much in one track and things just end up coming off rehashed. It's also the first time here where I feel like they've bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. And Trampled Headstones, God, this track is just straight ugly, and that's usually something I love in metal, but it's not a compliment. This track is demo quality at times. It just doesn't sound good. It doesn't seem thought out either. It sounds like the band just wanted so much to have that one last blast of energy for this album, but it just kind of, I don't know, just doesn't work. But if you're a new fan of death metal, or an old school one that has been out of the loop, this is still an album that you're going to want to hear, because overall the quality here is great. Head Splattered in 7 Ways. This track is fantastic, and I don't want to bring up Metalocalypse again, but tell me you can't just hear Nathan Explosion saying something like, "Oh, good idea for a song title." And pound for pound, it's one of the best tracks here. This track is batshit insane. This riff, it's probably the most memorable one here. It is awesome. And it doesn't let up one bit. And like a really great horror movie, like a really over-the-top one where you kind of can't help but like take a second and pause and laugh sometimes. I get that here, but I mean that in the best way because it's just so freaking ridiculous. And some of the experimentation, too, is really impressive. I mean, in the last minute alone, this track just gets completely experimental, just downright catastrophic, and off the charts completely. It is awesome. I wish we heard more experiments like this. And Bone Wrought is such a great late album treat. I mean, this riff, there is no hope in sight with this thing playing. It is gritty, it is rough, it is diabolic. I mean, these breakdowns alone, I mean, they are so mind-splitting. Good luck keeping track of them. And I feel insane saying it once again, but it's oddly catchy once again, especially when the guitar solos start piling up and that chorus roars around. It is really memorable. A lot of this album is, and yes, there are times where I think it's a little bit too straightforward. I wish they took a little bit more experiments like they did on their last album, but still, these guys are killing it right now. No pun intended. Definitely give this a listen if you're a metalhead. I'm feeling a very strong 7 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. Until next time, have a great day, guys.